Today is Wednesday, July 23rd, 2025, and it is also Yom Revi'i, the fourth day of the week, because in Hebrew and Israel, in the Hebrew way of reckoning, Wednesday is the fourth day of the week. The week starts on Sunday. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, fourth day of the week. And it's Wednesday, it's Yom Revi'i 27 Tammuz, 5785, and the Parsha is a double portion of Matot-Masei. And this is the PL-89 thought calendar, aka Mercury thought calendar, aka PL-89 Mercury Gematriatic Quantum Thought Calendar. Gematriatic Quantum Thought Calendar. And making sense of the numbers, trying to at least. Today is 10-day twilight 3 because it's the 23rd, and it's 10-day twilight 27 because it's the 27th on the Hebrew calendar. And I've been in a study of the columns and the numbers that appear on the columns and the properties of each column with respect to various arrangements of the calendar year, or events that happen on the calendar year. I mentioned a couple of days ago that 21 and 25 columns had something in common, in that none of the digits in the column add up to either 21 or 25. And in one instance, it is because there's no odd numbers, so you can't get an odd, it's only even numbers, so you can't get an odd number. In the case of 21, but in case of 25, there's also only even numbers, so that explains it. But every other row, if you add up some of the digits in some way, or if you subtract the digits in some way, you will get that day. Like, for example, today is July 23rd, right? So you can say today is 23. It's like saying 23. So the question is going to be on the column of 10-day twilight 3, this column here. If you look at every single digit here, can you in some way get 23? The answer is yes. You can come up with 23 in a few ways. You could, in the third column, you have a 17, you have a 5, and you have a 1. That's one way you can come up with 23. And there's another way you can come up with 23. And I debated whether this way is valid or not. If it's only adding the numbers up, I mean, anyone can make the settings, or what's allowed, what's not allowed. It's a creative thing, so you can make the rules. And I was debating whether the rule should be that you can subtract numbers from others to get that, and I came up with the conclusion that yes, that's also a way to get that number. And I found that in 23 there is a way that you can get 23 by subtracting. You can say there's a 37 right here. There is a 9 right here, and if you subtract 9 from 37, you get 28. 28 plus 9 is 37, right? Yeah. And 28, and you have 5 right here, so 28 minus 5 is 23. And so that's one way. It's another way you can come up with 23. So there's two ways that I found so far that you can come up with 23. And that's all I found for now. And so that's going to be for that. And in terms of 27, because it is the 27th day of Tammuz after all, and this is a lunar solar calendar. So the 27th day of Tammuz will be in this column right here. This is the 10-day twilight column for the 7th 10-day, which basically, as we finish this, we come to a terminus of this mercurial year. That's one way of calling it. I call it a mercurial year because, according to published data, astronomical data that's presented in many places, published about the planet Mercury, that it takes approximately 88 of our Earth days to revolve around the sun. And so it's 87.9691, something like that. So this here is 80 boxes that you're seeing. So that's already most of it. And then what's in this calendar is this 10-day twilight period that I've been talking to you about. I should say. I've been mentioning and talking to myself about maybe. And this 10-day twilight period here is where we're in right now. It's at the transition. So you have 90 days. 90 days is a quarter of our year, but it's a whole year on planet Mercury. And why is that important? I'm not exactly sure, but that's what I'm supposedly trying to figure out. 27. Well, number one, you can come up with 27 right here. 27 plus 0 equals 27. So 27 is already here. And what else? There's 39, 35 is 4, 23. 15 and 23. 35. Oh, here's one way of doing it. And this is like it's kind of weird, but it's like you have to do two operations. You have to do a subtraction and then an addition. I wonder if that works too. You can come up with 27 if you do 39 and then you subtract 35 and then you add 23. If you do that, you'll get 27. I think I'm going to allow that. You can do two types of things. You can add them, you can subtract them, or you can do a combination of adding and subtracting. I think it's good to be allowed because those numbers get you there. As long as you get there, you know what I mean? It's like sometimes you get there by adding, sometimes you get there by subtracting, or sometimes you got to combine. So the bottom line is that on the 27th twilight, which is today, Tammuz 27, you'll find the number 39, you'll find the number 35, and 23. So 39 minus 35 is, and plus 23 equals, why do I think that I had a dream like this? This feels so much like a dream. And then someone asked me someone said something critical, like, what the heck are you doing? I was insulted or whatever, just made fun of it or degraded. I said, look, I'm not here to do anything. I'm just going with the flow here. Something like that. Why does this feel like a dream right now? Why do I feel like I said this in a dream? It's the weirdest feeling. Maybe I did. If anyone has any comments on these numbers or this whole thing in general, please let me know. It's a mysterious work to myself. I'm not presenting anything it's so ironclad, it's so solid, this is what I'm... No, this is a study. And it's an unfolding, and I'm finding out things every day about it. So I don't even know how I really understood this whole thing, how I even got this thing, really. The base, you have to just take it to a baseline level of faith that it came from God. That's the only it's like the irreducible irreducible thing is that it came from God. That's the only really thing I can say.